traders? This is Rob Reinhold, and I cannot believe it is August 1st. This year is just flying. Hopefully everyone's having a great summer. Let's get into it. Let's go over exactly what we're going to do in this video. We are going to go over the trading day. What happened today? What were some of the numbers? What was the news that moved everything? Then, of course, we're going to take a look at our current market analysis and say, do we need to adjust any of our scores for our currencies or for the broad markets? And then we are always looking for setups. We'll break down those scores and pair up the correct currencies together.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional Forex and crypto traders. Maverick Currencies is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional Forex and currency trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
This is where we came into the day from last night. We were really not seeing anything moving super strong here. We had the CAD showing some relative outperformance, and the yen was the weakest of the Forex. We've liked the yen short this whole week. We still think it looks good. But as you can see, everything else is pretty much just hanging out in the middle. So there wasn't great trades going on. If we take a look at what some of the news of the day was, we got the RBA last night. Now they surprised the market with no rate hike. They were supposed to raise rates by a quarter point, and they didn't. Not surprisingly, the Australian dollar was the weakest currency of the day. Then when the U.S. markets opened, we got U.S. ISM, manufacturing weaker than expected. And that really put the markets, the equity markets, on a weak term. U.S. JOLTS job numbers were flat. So look, the economic news is starting to say, okay, the Fed is backing off, but the economy is still strong. These numbers were on more of the weaker side than the stronger side. We'll see what we get later this week, but it's showing U.S. economic activity maybe isn't as strong as everyone believed last week. If you take a look at the numbers today in Forex, you can see really outside of a few currencies, there wasn't a whole lot going on. Dollar yen was a fantastic trade today. We'll take a look at that setup. I know I didn't catch it. I wasn't really even looking there. I was looking more euro yen on the long side, but dollar yen was a fantastic trade. And look at that Aussie. It got pummeled because the RBA did not raise rates. If we take a look at the broad markets, you can see that the S&P was down, a 0.25%. The world index was down a little bit more at 0.61. Cryptos have been flat. I've been very clear about cryptos. They are not going anywhere at the moment. They continue to not go anywhere. And I've said cryptos have to show me they can go somewhere before I can get excited about them. So I'm going to just bow out of cryptos. Gold was down, oil was up, not a whole lot of movement across the board. If we take a look at the cryptos specifically, these are very small movements. Bitcoin down 0.1%, that's nothing. Ethereum down 0.3%. So as I said, there's no reason at all to take a look at cryptos until they start to show some momentum, and it is just not there right now. So let's take a look at our S&P outlook, and let's take a look at our weekly calendar. We have been at a solid +3 since the end of May. Let's see if anything has changed in this chart that's going to change our decision on this. Our metrics are, it's above the 50-day moving average, it's above the 20-day moving average, and the slope of both of these lines is moving up. Has that changed today or over the last couple of days than what it's been doing for a long time? No. Look at this. This trend has been in track. So, look, there's going to be pullbacks. There's going to be bases. We've got pullbacks. We're getting a base right now. That's what happens with these markets. This is still a very, very bullish market. So there is nothing to update as far as our broad market outlook as a +3. This week, we do have some major news coming down the pipe. So let's talk about tonight. Tonight, we have New Zealand employment change coming out at 6:45 p.m. If you are trading the Kiwi, you absolutely want to be watching this. I'm going to be watching the Kiwi. I think the Kiwi is likely going to follow the same way as the Aussie, but we'll take a look at the charts. As you can see, later this week, we've got the Bank of England on Thursday, and we have employment report out of the US and Canada on Friday. We will be meeting live for the payrolls report and the CAD employment report, so Mavericks, come join us on that date. Let's take a look at the currencies that move. We didn't get a ton of movement, but let's take a look at the ones that did move. Let's first take a look at the yen. So as you can see here, we really like this yen as a short. Anytime the yen has rallied, we've liked it as a short. It rallied last week. Let's go to a 4-hour chart. Let's go over to our velocity score. So we had this big fall, but really over the last 15, 16 hours, you can see we've been basing. Whenever something's basing, it's saying, hold off, not yet. But remember, most of the bases follow the direction they came from. We fell into this base. It's not bouncing. That's a really good sign that the next place the yen is going to break to the downside. So we still like yen to the downside, but it's not ready quite yet. If we come over here to the dollar had a nice breakout on Monday. And we ran up here to this level, and now we're falling back. The dollar is now showing us it wants to be a little bit stronger than I thought. I had a 0 on the dollar this week, and I absolutely have to say that the dollar is doing a little bit better than I expected. Now, does it mean that I want to go long dollar? No. But on a pullback and a bounce? Yes. I would absolutely be willing to look at dollar plays. Now, the currencies I've liked the most and the ones that are doing the best is Swiss franc and euro. Over the weekend, we talked about how they were just pulling back and they were getting ready to run. And you can see we now have some good upward momentum here on Swiss franc. We had this pullback and we've now started to get positive momentum on the EMA. We got a parabolic star cross and RSI is above 50 and sloping up. I like Swiss franc. I'm going to upgrade them to a possible currency to take a long on. Take a look at the euro. Same thing. We've broken out of some resistance areas, and we're now looking at the euro as running up to this next level. So euro, Swiss franc, they were just resting, and we think they are breaking out to the upside. Pound is not doing anything. I can't get excited about pound, so I'm just going to throw it away. Put it on the shelf. Here is CAD. CAD was showing some nice strength, but we've got a high base. I am not interested in CAD until it can break out of the top of this high base. So for me, CAD is not ready to go anytime over the next 24 hours. It's probably got a little bit of a pullback to make it. Let's pop into the Aussie and Kiwi. Now the Aussie was actually doing pretty good. It had just had a rally off the bottom, and then the RBA took the legs out from under it and it fell. The Aussie does have a lot of downward momentum now, but we can't ignore that it is close to this support level. Now, I want to point out what I've been saying, and this does it. And these two currencies do this all the time. So look at this. The Aussie was strong last week and then fell apart this week. Take a look at the Kiwi. We had a pullback, and now we're looking to bounce here. So they kind of flip-flop one to each other. This Kiwi is saying, okay, I didn't want to fall all the way down. I'm starting to strengthen. So for me, the Kiwi just weakened a little bit from where it was overnight. But if we take a look through all the currencies, where do we want to be short? And really the only answer is I want to be short the Aussie and the yen. However, the yen isn't going down now. What do I want to be long? Well, the answer is Swiss franc and the euro. So for me, there's only a few trades to even take a look at, and that is the euro and Swiss franc against the Aussie. Now let's take a look at the movements here. The Aussie was basically flat going into the RBA, and it has weakened substantially. And the Kiwi weakened a bit, but not too much. Euro and Swiss franc. So look, that CAD remains high basing, so I'm not really looking at immediately. But the things are moving right now. Euro, Swiss franc against the Aussie. So that is our pairing here for the next 24 hours. Euro and Swiss franc paired against Aussie. Whenever I have the question as far as, okay, I'm looking at both the Euro and Swiss franc long and the Aussie short, which one's better, the Euro or the Swiss franc? Now, I could take a look at Euro Aussie and make a decision, and then I could take a look at Aussie Swiss franc and make a decision, but here's the easy way to do it. Let's figure out what's stronger between the two, Euro or Swiss franc. This will tell us what is the best pairing to do. So we're taking a look here at the Euro Swiss franc. We can see that right here, right now, yes, over the last 12 hours, there's been virtually no difference. But take a look where the trend is. The EMA is sloping up. The RSI is up at 60. There is more strength to the euro than the Swiss franc. At least there has been over the past day or two. So that's what I'm going to stick with. I'm going to stick with euro, and I'm going to pair it up against the Aussie, and I'm going to say, okay, where are the entry points here? Where are some of the long-term things I need to take a look at? And I tell you what, this chart looks absolutely beautiful. Take a look at this beauty. I mean, we have been basing since June. And you can see we are now poking up at the head of the base. Let's take a look at the daily chart just to make sure we're not running into any serious overhead resistance. Okay, we've got some overhead resistance up here at 167.60. But I think we can absolutely make a trade here. I think it absolutely has a nice run. We've got about 120 pips up until we hit this resistance. It's just a question of what's the right timing. And I'm taking a look at everything in this chart, and it's telling me the timing is now. So I'm going to go ahead and enter it while we're sitting here. Here's our chart, Euro-Aussie 4-hour chart just breaking out. The big question is, where do I want my stop? Now I'm going to put my stop here, and I'm going to tie it on to this moving average down here. So the entry is at 166.39. I'm just going to go ahead and put my entry here. I can just use a market here. It's already broken out. I want to get in now. So I'm going to go ahead and just enter this trade. Here we go. And then I'm going to put my stop in. Very easy. My quantity, same as before, 200K. And I'm going to put a stop. I'm just going to drag it right underneath that moving average at 165.25. So that's the trade, 165.25. Entry of 166.36, somewhere around there. And there we go. Yeah, it's very, very rare that the trade setup is happening right when I do this daily roundup, but I'm going to go ahead and take and we'll see what happens. To round this up, if you are trading the Kiwi, make sure that you are watching Kiwi employment. Other than that, we got a busy week ahead, so there's no reason to rush into any trades because we got a really busy week. There's going to be plenty of trading opportunities. That is the market recap. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye, everyone.